They say every tragedy begins with someone laughing. That's how I open my statement. The detective looks at me with a face caught between pity and paperwork. The room smells like burnt coffee and old carpet, with a faint metallic aftertaste, the kind blood leaves when it tries to pass as disinfectant. Amber light hums through the blinds. Dust hangs in the air like applause that forgot to stop. "Relax," he says. "You're not the one on trial." I give him a short customer service chuckle. "You'd be surprised how often I hear that." He presses record. The red light blinks. A tiny accusation. "Before the clubs and the crowds, there was a house where we never cried. Mom said tears made ghosts jealous, so we laughed. At funerals, at breakups, at bills we couldn't pay. I was 5 when my father slipped on black ice. Mom stood over him and laughed until her voice cracked. I learned early that laughter is cheaper than grief. It started, I tell him, with a chuckle. The club was called the Giggle Chamber. Bad omen. Decent bar. Neon lights sputtered outside, painting faces red and blue, people desperate to forget their day jobs. Inside, black walls hid water stains like old bruises beneath makeup. The microphone smelled of nerves and mint gum. Someone told a joke about penguins or politicians. The crowd laughed in unison, polite laughter that says, "We're fine." I watched from the bar, nursing a warm beer. The comedian left the stage. The applause died. But the laughter didn't. It stayed in the room like smoke after a fire, soft at first. Almost polite, the bartender hummed along, blaming the speakers. The manager checked the sound system twice, but I heard it clearly. A chuckle that didn't belong to anyone. I walked onto the empty stage. Just the mic stand and a stool with a broken leg. The laughter crawled up from the floorboards, or maybe the walls. I touched the microphone. It was warm. Behind the bar hung an old poster. Fear and farce share a punchline. I don't think it was a joke anymore. "You're saying the laughter spread?" the detective asks. I'm saying it evolved. A week later, I was back on stage. Different crowd, same hunger for distraction. I told a story about my mother, about black ice. They laughed nervously, then harder, then too hard. A woman in the 3rd row couldn't stop laughing. Her friends thought it was a panic attack. Then it turned wet. She collapsed, still giggling. Security carried her out. The room went silent. Then someone laughed. Then everyone did. Not a my joke. At her. I felt it beneath the noise. The nervous laugh. It smells like static and cheap perfume. Panic dressed in manners. 2 days later, a man collapsed mid-chuckle on the evening news. His chest still moved when they zipped the bag. I smiled when I saw it online. You have to. Silence gets you noticed. Didn't that seem strange? The detective asks. Everything's normal if it's popular. That's when it became contagious. People caught it on buses, in elevators, in moments of silence. The media called it the joy plague. Couples laughed together for the first time in months. Some never stopped. Teachers collapsed mid-lesson. Funerals went viral. The mayor live-streamed herself laughing for 6 minutes straight. When she begged people to stop recording, no one did. The detective folds his arms. And you? I was born with it, the quiet kind. The laugh grief wears to work. I call it the silent laugh. It feels like relief. It sounds like drowning. It's what happens when a scream learns manners. There's a moment after laughter dies when the body forgets itself. The lungs remember, the heart doesn't. That pause is where I live. He slides photographs across the table, mouths open mid-laugh. Eyes wrong. Recognize anyone? I point them out. The chuckle. The nervous, the contagious. He says facial recognition found only one person in every photo. Me. 48 people are dead, he says. 48 set free, I reply. That's not funny. Neither was their laughter. A chuckle escapes his mouth. Just one. The room stretches the sound. He touches his throat too late. They say the tape corrupted after that. Under the laughter, there was a whisper. Help me. Now I'm in isolation. Guards wear headphones. Doctors hum. They still laugh. You want the truth? They were all mine. Every single one. It wasn't joy. It was need. A plea to be heard without being turned into entertainment. I lean toward the glass. I just want to hear silence again. The light flickers. Dust floats like ghosts taking bows. Some laughs are better left unheard. The footage ends there.